Hello, hello. Good afternoon, good evening, and depending on where you are, good morning. It feels really strange because we didn't have a Facebook Live last week. And so I feel like it's been weeks, which has been months since I last spoke to you all. How are you all going? Let's give everybody a chance to get seated, get comfortable, put their earphones in if that's what they need to do. I did suggest bringing pen and paper. So are you ready? Do you have a nice little cup of chai tea like I do? Make sure you drop into the comments and say hello. Let me know where you are. Let me know how you're feeling. Most of all, just say hi. Hi. And then let's just take a really deep breath. I don't know if you've all seen some of the contents or comments and posts that I've been putting onto Facebook and Instagram of late, but it's been around anxiety and it's been quite heavy and full on for myself. And then posting about that has brought out some other women saying the same thing. And some people are telling me it's a universal energy thing. Others are just letting me know that it's real for them. So hopefully, if you've been feeling it as well, now you can take that moment to know that you're doing something for yourself. You're putting yourself first, your inner happiness, your trust and belief. You're working on those while you're here, and you get to take a really deep breath. And you get to just listen if that's what you need, or participate in the conversation, which of course I would love you to do, but I understand not everybody feels like doing that. Maybe you will as we get further into it. So, as you know, I've spoken about this before. I take time before running a Facebook Live and thinking about what the topic of the week is going to be. And when I was thinking about this, your pace, your time, and the comparison that we can get into doing. They look like they've got it all together. Oh, they're always traveling. They're always happy. Oh my God, they've got a dream life. All of those things. She's got all the career. She's got everything going on. And we get into comparing. Sometimes we start judging unintentionally. But the sure one thing that I can guarantee will lead to anxiety is comparing your life with somebody else's. Now, we know this. We're not silly. We're very wise in our midlife. We've got a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom. And yet it doesn't stop us comparing ourselves to other women, to other people. And especially when we're on social media. It's so easy to do, so easy to do. So, what I really wanted to do in our conversation today is delve into the comparison, what that means, what it can look like, how it can hold us back, what it can be costing us, but also give some tips and some hopefully provoking thought content for you, information for you that can help you start to become aware of comparing, or what to do to avoid it. Right? Nobody wants to be doing it. We don't intentionally do it. We don't think, oh my God, the best thing for me today would be for me to scroll on social media and compare myself. I don't think anybody's intentionally doing that. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. I don't think I am. All right. I am going to jump into it. Hello, we've got Crystal. Crystal, you're in Sydney, traveling for work, I'm guessing. Wendy, getting our UK weather forecast here, cloudy, 12 degrees. And let's see, it is, let me get my world clock here. It's 8:06 a.m. over there. Crystal's feeling the anxiety creeping in. Yeah. And Narelle is going to be watching back on replay. That to me makes me think that Narelle is out on her afternoon walk, which is great. All right, let's jump into it. We hear a lot of staying in your own lane. We know by now, like I said, we're pretty wise. We've got lots of experience under our belt. We know to focus on what's going on for us, stay on our own path. But it's like this anxiety that can just creep in. It's very sneaky. This is what happens. Comparison, it just sneaks up on you. Like I said, you're not intentionally going onto social media or watching the news or staring out your window, staring at the neighbors to see what they're up to compare your life. That's not what you're living to do, right? But what does happen is when we start comparing us with what everyone else is doing, I start to hear women say, oh, I might be in my midlife era, but I haven't made the progress. I'm not where I wanted to be. Everyone else seems to be more successful than me. Everybody else seems to have their shit together. Everybody else seems to look like everything's working out, and I do not feel that way at all. And I do hear women talking about, I think I've been left behind. Or maybe I'm broken, maybe there's something wrong with me, and that's why I haven't managed to get there. Oh, hey, Michelle, nice to have you with us. Thanks for joining. So if this sounds familiar to you, and maybe it's not necessarily about the timing, but maybe there are feelings of, well, everyone else, look at them. They've got it together. Why can't I get it together? If that sounds familiar, then hopefully I've got some really great tips and tricks or some information for you today. Let's talk a little bit about the why it happens. So I'm going to say it again. We've been conditioned. Okay, it's true. We've been conditioned. But what we've been conditioned to do is that I really want to focus on today is this measuring our worth by achievement. And then we've been told that there's a timeline for everything. I don't know if anyone here ever, heard someone say to another woman, TikTok, are you gonna, you're gonna have a baby, or time's gonna pass you by before you know it? All of these sorts of sayings might be said with the best of intentions. But when you hear something once, twice, 3 times, it starts to play on your mind. And I remember, I definitely remember this around some of my friends when they were getting married. People were like, when are you going to have a baby? Like, we're at the wedding and they're already asking, so when are you going to have a baby? Then they have their baby. They get home from the hospital Oh, isn't it wonderful? Don't you love it? Do you think you'll have another one? Barely had 24 hours with this one. How do you know you want another one? Um, we're just always chasing the next thing. We're in a job for a little while and then somebody says to you, want to go for, do you think you'll chase a promotion? Do you think you want to do something bigger, better? We've always been led down this path that we should be chasing more, or there is a timeline for success, for family, for a career. Then we've also now, and some people may notice this, some people may not. Part of my job is obviously being on social media, so it's hard to get away from. But what I definitely notice is there's these reels on social media, and we're constantly being bombarded by them, and I add to that noise to get my message out there. I try to limit the amount of times I do it. But, you think about these 30-second reels and, in a minute, 10 minutes of scrolling, think about how many you pass and how many messages are in there about being better, doing better. Hey, Amelia, nice to have you. Welcome. We're bombarded by these messages constantly. And what we forget amongst all of this noise, is that no one's really showing their messy middle. No one's really showing the between or before the makeup on, between, and so their hair gets thrown up in the bun. We're racing between things. Things are not perfect. Cleaning up, folding, washing, throwing another load of washing in. For those who iron, like there's just a whole bunch of stuff that we're doing, right? Walking the dog, picking up kids, making sure grandkids are where they need to be to help out our kids, whatever it is, there's a lot. And very few people are showing that messy middle. And it's messy. It is messy, which is actually okay. Hey, Stacey, messy mum. Welcome. We are messy. We're not perfect. Now, before social media and before everything else, this wasn't in our face as much. Now, I could say, get off of social media and you won't see it, but you still will. It's still in the media. It's still in the media. It's funny, I had a bit of a reflection moment during the week going, when did I really start to hear some of these messages? Let me see if some of you women remember this. Dolly magazine. Right? The Dolly magazine. When you should be having sex, how skinny you need to be, how you have to dress for your career. You want to be listened to? This is what you need to do. You want to be productive? Here's 10 tips. Like it's always been the media. It doesn't matter which form of media. Stacey's picking on me cleaning my skirting boards. But that's all come from me and my wanting to please and my things need to look a certain way. I'm well aware that that's not ideal and it's not normal. Maybe it is normal. I don't know. That's my version of all of those things that I've read in Dolly magazine and all of the things that I've seen my mum and her friends do. And then it's even a mixture of me being a mum really, really early, being a single mum. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to be perfect because my life wasn't. The scenario was far from perfect. I was a single mum at 21 with 2 children. They weren't very old. My life was far from perfect. And so I tried to make up for that in other ways. I know where my noise started. Where did it start for you? it grew from there for me because what I wanted to do was continuously always look like I had my shit together, be better, be more than what people expected from a single mum at 21. I wanted to be more than that. I always wanted to be ahead of the curve, ahead of the change, ahead of the judgment. I wasn't. I was kidding myself. But to do that, I had to compare myself to others. It starts super early. But what happens is comparing ourselves disconnects us from our very own timeline and from our own truth. For a long time, I didn't really know who I was. I definitely didn't know what I stood for. I definitely didn't know what I wanted to say no to. I didn't really know what excited me. I knew what I wanted it to look like from the outside. Let me know in the comments, have you ever looked at someone else and felt like you were behind or that you needed to do better? I know it's just not me. Grandma used to iron dish towels. My mother-in-law to my first husband used to want me, she used to iron handkerchiefs. You know, who even uses handkerchiefs? She wanted to iron them. And I remember one of the days, my firstborn was crying and, you know, he was a baby and he was learning to walk and those sorts of things. And she came over and she saw the piles of washing that I had started to fold. And she totally lost her mind that I was not ironing the handkerchiefs and the pillowcases. I didn't feel like I was in a position at that stage to say, well, that's okay for you. You do you. I don't do that stuff. No, because that was before I was even a single mum. I was trying to be ahead of the curve. I was trying to be more than what people expected me to be. That's my story. So what I really want you to take away from this is that we all have our own timeline. Okay, we all have our own personality, we all have our own values, we all have our own desires and dreams, and from the outside, they may look very similar to other people's. But the reasons behind them are all made up the moment we were born, if not before. Okay, I'm very much into human design, and I have, you know, done a few profiles for people. But in human design, it talks about you've got two parts of you. One is from the moment you were designed, which is about that 30 days before your birth. And then your personality is made, so that's your unconscious. And your conscious, your personality is sort of made as the moment you were born. So we look at the date that you were born, the time you were born, the location you were born, and it all pulls together where all of the atoms and neurons and all of those things were at the time. And that means we've all got our very own timeline. We've all got our very own personality, our own design. Your pace is powerful for you. Only for you. And all of those people that you're comparing yourself to are probably really unhappy as well, if we're going to be completely honest, at some stage. It's not perfect. Life is not perfect. But they are at their own pace. Or that's where we want them to be. We all deserve to be going at our own pace. Healing takes as long as it takes for you. You are not late. You are unlearning someone else's timeline. And the funny thing about it is the people that are teaching you the timeline probably never wanted that timeline and were never living their own timeline either. So why are we taking and advice for them, but so hooked on their version? Wendy saying, always want to be different from the norm. Yeah, I always knew I was different from the norm. I knew it deep down. And I've only been able to, in the past 5 years, be really honest with myself and go, I always knew it. And it's okay. I'm kind of like Wendy. I'm happy about it. Doesn't mean I didn't struggle with it though. So always wanted to be different from the norm. That was hard when people say you can't. Yeah. 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 What else have we got here? Stacey, missed most of my 40s because I was thinking I had a standard to step up to. Yeah. And the interesting thing is, were they your standards or were they standards you were given or believed you were given by somebody else? You might not have noticed at the time. But what I definitely found is that I had my part to play. I was putting a lot of those expectations on myself. It was being reinforced by others, but I was putting them on myself. And then they would get bigger and bigger and bigger. And that was me. That wasn't anybody else. And definitely what I have learnt, but always need to be reminded of, is that rushing doesn't get you there faster. Because you're pushing against something. It causes friction. So it makes sense, right? You're not going to get there faster. But I did read something recently, and what it said is that you're just missing the view. So you can be speeding along in your car. We've been watching the Giro Italia, husband's cyclist, and he says he watches some of it for the scenery. It's not true. But I watch, when it's on, I watch a bit of it for the scenery. And of course, it's at the moment, last night it was all through Tuscany. And imagine going super fast, right? These guys are cycling 50 something Ks. They're going really, really fast on a very small bike. And they're in the most beautiful scenery in the world. How much of it are they seeing? Are they really enjoying it? No. So that is what it's like. You're rushing through to get somewhere for a time trial, to be the fastest one there, the first one there, get across the line, get the medal, be seen, be recognized for your achievement. Meanwhile, you've missed the cheese, the bread, the pasta, the wine, the views. And that is where the living is. That is life. And we're missing it because we're rushing and pushing and trying to get there faster. Does that make sense? Stacey's on the track and running. Yeah, Stacey, I keep checking in. I'm trying to pull you off that damn track. Wendy's saying school is bad as you have to dress the same. It starts so early, doesn't it? It starts so early. A friend of mine, her daughter, she's just had her second baby and she was shopping for some winter clothes for her daughter. And to be practical, she's getting some tracksuits. Makes complete sense. Her daughter likes pockets in her tracksuits. I remember that. I always wanted pockets, and mum kept sewing pockets out of my clothing. Always wanted a pocket. And she was explaining that, so she would buy boys' tracksuits because you can't tell at that age, right? It doesn't matter. And She would be buying the boys' tracksuits, so there could be pockets. But then there were other limitations. So already at the age of 3, 4, 5, 6, we're already telling girls how to dress, what they can and cannot have on a tracksuit. It's crazy. So don't tell me we haven't been conditioned, all right? All right, so hey, let's get into some of the helpful stuff. How can we stay rooted into our very own journey? How can we do that? Let's talk through that. Step number 1 is about turning down the noise. So, and I have to do this because, like I said, part of what I do to get my message out there and to find the women who would like some assistance and help and work with me is be on social media, right? But what I need to do is, there's a lot on there, and there's a lot on there that makes me really uncomfortable and unhappy and anxious and question even myself. So those things I mute, I delete, I unfollow. Those accounts that are keeping me in a comparison loop or dragging me into one, I unfollow or I mute them. It's the same even with, I'm in some WhatsApp chats. And sometimes I just have to put that thing on mute because it'll be going off on something. And initially you're like, yeah, that's really interesting. And then it's just hours later and it's still going off. I'm like, mute, you're pulling me into somewhere I don't need to be. So be selective about who gets your energy and your attention. If it's pulling you out of your journey, or it's okay in the beginning, but then it's starting to reroute your path, mute it or unfollow it. Take a break from it. Ask yourself this: does this inspire me or make me feel small? Because if it is not inspiring you and it is making you feel small, lose it. Get away from it. It is not helpful in any way. It's just distracting you, and you're going to find yourself pushing and rushing and missing the view. Number 2 is about redefining your progress. And I don't mean the really big wins. Yes, I had children. Yes, I've bought a house. Yes, I've got a fancy car. I don't know, whatever the big wins are, whatever seem like really big things for you. It doesn't have to be that type of thing. It can be, so for me, it is about, no matter what is going on social media, or I don't know, anything that might, unless it's my family desperately needs me in the moment, anything that tries to take away my time, my energy, and my enjoyment of running lives with you and being with you and looking after you however I can, then it's not something I need to focus on. It's not progress for me. This is progress for me. Building this community, providing you the support however I can, or bringing in people that can provide you the support, giving you the tools, the resources, and just the time and space. That is progress for me. Every time a new woman joins this community, that is progress for me. We've got another one coming in saying, yes, I'm ready to unlearn the BS. That's progress for me. So for me, it's about showing up even when no one's watching. It's not about the performing anymore and looking like everything is perfect from the outside. Hence my tie up in the bun for this afternoon. The other thing is to celebrate things like saying no. If there is something you really need to say no to it and celebrate that. Recognize yourself for doing that. Prioritizing rest. We talk about rest a lot. No, Crystal, you cannot mute your job. However, you can unfollow. A little bit, probably get back from Sydney before you do that though, okay? Prioritizing rest. This is something that, and maybe now that I'm about to say this out loud, I feel like this might be a topic for a live. But there is a difference between rest and being unproductive. Prioritizing rest is putting yourself first. It can be reading a book. It doesn't have to be sleeping. It doesn't have to be just sitting on the lounge, watching TV, feeling bored. It doesn't have to be those things. It can be whatever calms you and allows you to just reconnect to maybe an ache or pain that you've got. Or, maybe you've done some exercise and you're resting and you're like, oh, I can feel a little bit of muscle there. I didn't know I had muscle there. It reconnects you to how you're feeling. That can be rest. It can be going and taking a nice long shower. Making a decision, keeping a promise to yourself, these are all progress and should all be celebrated. So, is there something that you can celebrate this week? If there is, pop it in the chat right now. Exactly, Wendy, live your life, not someone else's. Because you're never going to be satisfied. If you do live someone else's life, you're constantly going to be saying things like, I've done all the things, but I still don't feel fulfilled. Still don't feel happy. Why did I feel okay for the 10 minutes after I did that thing, but now I just feel empty again? Because you're living somebody else's life. That's why. Or is it that you don't think you're worth more? That's a whole nother topic. Okay, so if there's a small win you're celebrating this week, share it, please. Drop it in the chat right now and let's all celebrate it with you. Now, the number 3 thing that you can do to stay rooted to your own journey is honoring your timing. You're not behind. Your timeline is perfect for you. Slow growth is still growth. I have a journal prompt for you to go with this. Hence why I did say bring your pen and paper. I'll pop this in the chat, but I will also, I'll read it out. Let me pop this in the chat. Journal prompts. So you can, the ladies that are with me, you can copy and paste that and take that with you. The prompt is this. So we're 33 minutes in. So if you want to pause, this will be the time to pause. If I fully trusted my timing, what would I stop rushing? If I fully trusted my timing, what would I stop rushing? That's your journal prompt for the week. Please feel free to share in the group any thoughts that come around that if you would like to do that. We are all here for that. Okay. All right. Final thought. You don't need to keep up, ladies. You just need to keep going, but you need to make sure it's on your terms. Limit the noise, the distractions. And by distractions, I mean the things pulling you off of your path and the things that are making you feel small. Move away those distractions, mute them, unfollow them. Do whatever you can to not listen to them. Okay? This is about noticing when you're comparing And then it's about you reclaiming your own power by celebrating your wins. Just one win will do. It doesn't have to be a long list. All right. And work on that journal prompt. Journal prompt. Yep. If I fully trusted my timing, what would I stop rushing? Wendy, filling my diary. It's okay. You've got an empty day today. Great. Perfect day for you to sit there in your 12 degrees. I'm sure it's going to warm up really soon, and work through that journal prompt. Ladies, if you've got any questions or any thoughts that you want to drop into the chat, do that now. Thank you for spending 30 odd minutes with me, but thank you for doing that for yourself. This is where you are looking after yourself, and this is where the growth will come. Thank you for spending these 30 odd minutes with me. I hope you have a beautiful rest of the week. And I look forward to talking to you all again very, very soon. All right. Have a great evening, morning, whatever it is, wherever you are in the world. All right. Mwah, much love.